America has a strange relationship with motorcycles. In many parts of the world, a motorcycle is simply transportation. It is a practical machine people use every day to go to work, visit family, run errands, and move through busy cities. But in America, motorcycles are often treated like lifestyle products. They are not just vehicles. They are symbols of power, success, identity, and status. That is why small bikes, especially 125cc motorcycles, are often misunderstood. If a bike does not have a huge engine, high horsepower, expensive electronics, and a serious road presence, many riders do not take it seriously. To them, a 125cc bike looks like a toy, a beginner machine, or something you ride only until you can afford a real motorcycle. But that way of thinking misses the entire point. A 125cc motorcycle is not trying to replace a big bike. It is not built to dominate highways, win drag races, or impress people at motorcycle meets. It exists for a different reason. It brings motorcycling back to something simple, affordable, and fun. And in a culture obsessed with bigger, faster, and more expensive machines, that simplicity might be exactly what many riders are missing. In America, bigger is often seen as better. Bigger trucks, bigger SUVs, bigger houses, bigger engines, and bigger motorcycles. A bike with more power is usually seen as more serious. A rider with a larger engine is often seen as more experienced or more confident. This creates a culture where motorcycle ownership becomes connected to ego. The machine is no longer just about riding. It becomes about proving something. That is very different from how motorcycles are used in much of the world. In countries across Asia, Africa, Latin America, and parts of Europe, small motorcycles and scooters are everywhere. They are part of daily life. People do not look at a small bike and think it is embarrassing. They see it as useful. They see it as normal. A 125cc bike can take someone to work, carry groceries, move through traffic, and cost very little to maintain. That is the real strength of small motorcycles. They are not built around image. They are built around usefulness. A simple bike like a Honda Super Cub became popular around the world because it was cheap, reliable, easy to ride, and easy to repair. It was not created to impress people. It was created to help people move. That is why small motorcycles are deeply connected to everyday life in so many countries. America, however, has different roads and a different riding culture. Wide highways, long distances, fast traffic, huge pickup trucks, and large SUVs can make a small motorcycle feel out of place. A 125cc bike is not the best choice for high-speed highway riding. It is not ideal for long-distance touring. It cannot comfortably do everything a larger motorcycle can do. So yes, there are real limits, but those limits do not make a 125cc bikes useless. They simply mean people need to understand what these bikes are actually for. A 125cc motorcycle does not need to be your only bike. It can be your second bike. It can be your city bike, your neighborhood bike, your short-distance bike, or your fun bike. It can be the machine you ride when you do not want motorcycling to feel serious. Because sometimes riding a big motorcycle can become stressful. A powerful and expensive bike comes with pressure. You worry about dropping it. You worry about scratches. You worry about theft. You worry about insurance. You worry about repair costs. You worry about traffic, careless drivers, and the possibility of damaging a machine that costs thousands of dollars. Even a short ride can start to feel like a major event. You put on all your gear, check the bike, plan your route, think about parking, and stay alert the entire time. Of course, safety is important. But when every ride feels like a mission, motorcycling can lose some of its fun. The thing that was supposed to feel like freedom can slowly become another source of stress. A 125cc bike changes that feeling. It lowers the pressure. It is small, light, cheap, and unintimidating. You do not need to mentally prepare for a simple ride across town. You can hop on, go to the store, ride to the gym, grab food, or just cruise around your neighborhood. There is less planning, less fear, and less ego involved. That low-stakes feeling is one of the best things about a small motorcycle. When the bike is not expensive, heavy, or dangerously powerful, you relax. You stop worrying so much. You start riding more often. A big motorcycle might sit in the garage waiting for the perfect weekend ride. A small bike invites you to ride on a normal Tuesday afternoon for no reason at all. And once you ride a 125cc bike for a while, your idea of fun starts to change. On a powerful motorcycle, riding is often about restraint. You have to control the throttle, manage the speed, and constantly avoid using too much of the bike's performance on public roads. A fast motorcycle can be exciting, but it can also feel like you are always holding back. On a 125cc motorcycle, the experience is different. You can use more of the bike without instantly reaching dangerous speeds. You can twist the throttle, hear the engine working, and feel like you are getting everything out of the machine. A small hill becomes exciting. A back road becomes an adventure. A parking lot becomes a playground. Even a simple ride to the store can feel entertaining. That is why small bikes often make riders feel like kids again. They bring back the playful side of two wheels. A speed bump feels like a jump. A quiet street feels like a racetrack. A dirt path feels like an off-road trail. You stop chasing top speed and start chasing smiles. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are just having fun. This is also why bikes like the Honda Grom became so popular. They reminded people that motorcycling does not always have to be serious. You do not need a huge engine to enjoy yourself. You do not need to go dangerously fast. You do not need to prove anything. Sometimes the most fun you can have on two wheels comes from a small, silly, simple machine. The biggest obstacle to enjoying a 125cc bike is usually not the bike itself. It is ego. Some riders are afraid of being seen on something small. They think a small motorcycle makes them look inexperienced or weak. They worry about what other riders will say. But that mindset is exactly what small bikes challenge. A 125cc motorcycle forces you to let go of the need to look impressive. It reminds you that riding is not supposed to be a competition all the time. You do not always need the fastest bike in your group. You do not always need the loudest exhaust. You do not always need the biggest engine. Sometimes the best motorcycle is the one that makes you laugh inside your helmet. Small bikes can also make you appreciate big bikes more. Riders adapt to speed very quickly. After spending enough time on a powerful motorcycle, even extreme acceleration can start to feel normal. That is why some riders keep chasing more power. A bike feels fast at first, then normal, then suddenly they want something even faster. But when you spend time on a 125cc bike and then return to a larger motorcycle, everything feels different. The power feels exciting again. The brakes feel stronger. The suspension feels more serious. The engine feels more impressive. A small bike resets your perspective. It reminds you how powerful modern motorcycles really are. In that way, a 125cc bike is a great companion to a larger motorcycle. The big bike can be for speed, performance, touring, or longer rides. The small bike can be for fun, errands, practice, and relaxed riding. One bike gives you capability, the other gives you simplicity. Together, they create a more balanced riding experience. Small motorcycles also make riding more accessible for new riders. Motorcycling can be intimidating at first. Big bikes are heavy, expensive, and sometimes scary. Gear costs money. Insurance costs money. Maintenance costs money. For someone just starting out, the entire hobby can feel overwhelming. A 125cc bike lowers that barrier. It is easier to handle, cheaper to own, and less intimidating to ride. It teaches throttle control, braking, balance, cornering, and road awareness without overwhelming the rider. It gives beginners a chance to build confidence before moving to something bigger. And for many people living in cities, a small bike can be a very practical alternative to relying only on a car. This matters because younger riders often care about cost, convenience, and ease of use. Not everyone wants a giant touring motorcycle. Not everyone wants a super bike. Some people just want affordable transportation that is also fun. The rise of small motorcycles, scooters, mini bikes, and e-bikes shows that people still want simple two-wheeled freedom. There is also a growing fatigue around the excess of modern motorcycling. Bikes are becoming more expensive, more complicated, and more powerful than most riders can fully use. Insurance costs are rising. Technology is increasing. Performance numbers keep getting bigger. But many riders are starting to realize that more power does not always mean more enjoyment. A 125cc motorcycle is the opposite of that excess. It is simple. It is humble. It is not trying to win a spec sheet battle. It is not trying to impress anyone with impossible horsepower numbers. It simply gives you a way to get outside, ride around, and enjoy being on two wheels. That is why these bikes matter. They remind riders of the basic joy of motorcycling. Before the ego, before the expensive gear, before the brand loyalty, before the horsepower arguments, there was just the feeling of moving through the world on two wheels. That feeling does not require a massive engine. It does not require a luxury motorcycle. It only requires a bike that makes you want to ride. A 125cc motorcycle may never be someone's dream bike. Most people do not grow up with posters of tiny commuter bikes on their bedroom walls. But not every motorcycle needs to be a dream machine. Some motorcycles exist for a simpler reason. They exist to make ordinary life more fun. And maybe that is what America still does not fully understand about 125cc bikes. They are not about being the fastest. They are not about being the loudest. They are not about proving your skill, your money, or your identity. They are about removing pressure from riding and bringing back the joy. A small bike lets you stop taking motorcycling so seriously. It lets you ride for no reason. It lets you enjoy slow roads, short trips, empty parking lots, and quick errands. It lets you laugh at how hard the little engine is working. It lets you feel like a kid again. So no, a 125cc motorcycle is not the perfect bike for every situation. It will not replace a big touring bike. It will not dominate the highway. It will not impress people who only care about horsepower. But it does something that many expensive motorcycles struggle to do. It makes riding feel simple again. And sometimes the smallest motorcycles are the ones that remind us why we started riding in the first place.